When I told my husband I wanted a small birthday this year, he agreed. But then his family threw a surprise party, with his ex as the guest of honor. My mother-in-law said, we invited who we thought mattered. I left without saying a word. 2 days later, I mailed each of them a thank you card with a photo of me cutting my hair, smiling. On the back, new chapter. No guests. I never liked being the center of attention. I'm not shy. I just don't like fake smiles, loud toasts, or people clapping when I walk into a room. I'm from Denton, Texas. Grew up in a quiet house where birthdays meant cake from the grocery store and a movie night with family. That was enough. I told Mike this the first year we dated. I told him again when we got married. And this year, as I turned 37, I told him again, clear as day. Please, no big party. Just dinner, you and me. That's all I want. He kissed my hand, looked me in the eyes. Sounds perfect, babe. That was in early February. My birthday's in mid-March. He had plenty of time to plan nothing. That's all I asked. The week before my birthday, he seemed distracted. I chalked it up to work. He kept saying he had a surprise for me. I reminded him that I didn't want one. It's not big. Just trust me, he said. I should have listened to my gut. Something felt off. On the night of my birthday, he told me to dress up a little more than usual. Nice, but not too fancy, he said. I wore a navy dress. Flats. Simple. He drove us to a restaurant downtown. We pulled into the parking lot behind a private event hall next door. We're not eating here? I asked. He smiled. You'll see. I followed him in. The second the doors opened, I was hit with it, balloons, loud music, people shouting, surprise. I just stood there. I didn't move. I didn't smile. I scanned the room. His entire family was there. His mom, Evelyn, his sisters, cousins I barely knew. Some people from his work. A few people I hadn't seen since our wedding. And right there in the middle, his ex Amanda. She was standing next to his mom, laughing, holding a glass of champagne. I looked at Mike. He was grinning, clapping, like he'd just given me the best gift ever. I felt my throat close up. I turned to him and whispered, "Why is she here?" He leaned in like it was no big deal. Mom invited her. They still talk sometimes. I stepped back. His mom walked over, arms open, and said, "We invited who we thought mattered." That's when I knew this wasn't for me. This wasn't about me. This was their party, their little show. And I wasn't the guest of honor. I was the excuse. I didn't make a scene. I didn't cry. I didn't throw a drink or scream or slam the door. I just turned around and walked out. Nobody followed me. 2 days later, I went to CVS and printed 15 thank you cards. On the front, each card said, "Thank you for celebrating." Inside, I taped a photo of me in my bathroom, smiling, scissors in one hand, a fistful of hair in the other. My long brown hair cut short. A clean break. On the back of each card, I wrote, "New chapter. No guests." I mailed one to every person who showed up to that party. Even Amanda. I didn't get a single reply. But Mike? That's a whole other part of the story. Mike came home late that night after the party. I was in bed, lights off. I heard him walk in and stop at the doorway. He didn't say anything at first. Just stood there. "You really walked out like that?" he finally asked. I didn't answer. He turned on the light. "You embarrassed me. My family. That was for you." I sat up. "No, Mike. That was for you. And your mother. And Amanda, apparently." He rubbed his face like I was the one being unreasonable. I didn't even know she'd be there until that night. That made it worse. "So your mom planned the whole thing?" "She just helped." "So you let her run the show?" Again. He started raising his voice, which he rarely did. "You always do this. You always think the worst of her. She invited your ex to my birthday. She's family to them. She was around for years before you." He said that like it was supposed to make me feel better. Like I should be fine being second. I didn't say another word. I just turned my back to him and lay down. He slept on the couch. The next day, Evelyn called. I didn't answer. Then she texted, "You've always been too sensitive. Maybe you're not cut out for this family." That text hit harder than I expected. Not because it was true, but because she meant it. She wanted me gone. She always did. And she finally gave herself permission to say it out loud. Mike didn't even ask how I was doing. He didn't try to fix it. He just went to work like nothing happened. We ate dinner in silence that night. I felt like a stranger in my own house. So I started packing a few things. Slowly, quietly, just the stuff that mattered to me. 3 days after I mailed those thank you cards, his youngest sister, Kendra, posted a photo on Instagram. It was of Amanda, smiling, holding a gift bag. The caption said, "So good to see the OG queen again," and in the comments, Evelyn wrote, "Always part of the family, Mike liked it." He liked the post. That was it for me. I went to the bank, split our joint account, left him his share. I wasn't trying to rob him. Just done playing dumb. I booked a room at a small motel near Louisville. Didn't tell anyone. I left a single envelope on the kitchen table. Inside, a copy of our wedding photo cut right down the middle. Only I was left in the frame. No note. 3 days passed. I stayed quiet. I didn't post online. I didn't call my parents. I just stayed in that motel room, going to work like normal, watching things fall apart from a distance. On the 4th day, I got a message from an unknown number. It was Amanda. Didn't mean to cause drama. Just showed up to support Mike's mom. "Hope you're okay." I didn't reply. I just stared at it. Support? What was she supporting? My erasure? Then I saw something else. A friend from town sent me a screenshot from Facebook. Evelyn had posted one of the party photos, me in the background, stiff as stone, while Amanda smiled with her arm around Mike's shoulder. The caption? "Family is who shows up." I could feel something inside me snap, not loud or violent. Just a quiet break, like thread pulled too tight. I called a divorce lawyer the next morning. Not because of Amanda. Not even because of Evelyn. But because Mike never said sorry. Not once. Not even a "I should have done better." And because I finally saw it for what it was, I was married to someone who didn't see me. Not really. But here's the twist. 2 weeks after I left, I found out Evelyn had stage 2 cancer. She'd kept it quiet, only told family. Amanda knew. Of course she did. That's why she was around again. That's why everyone was rallying. The party wasn't really for me. It was a distraction for them. A guilt-covering mask. When Mike finally called me, his voice cracked. First time I heard real emotion in weeks. "She's sick," he said. "That's why you still didn't tell me," I said. "You didn't think I was part of the family enough to know?" He went silent. I added, "And now you want me to care?" He didn't beg. He didn't defend. He just said, "I miss you." I hung up. A few days after that call, I drove back to the house, not to see Mike. I just wanted my things. I knocked once before walking in. He didn't answer, but the door was unlocked. The house smelled different, like bleach and cheap candles, trying to cover something up. He was sitting at the dining table, the same table where we used to eat pancakes on Sundays. He looked tired, pale, older, somehow. "I didn't think you'd come back," he said. "I'm just here for my stuff," I said. "You can keep the rest." He didn't stop me. Just watched as I packed up books, a few framed photos, my grandmother's quilt. Then he said something I didn't expect. "She's moving in." I turned around. "Amanda?" He nodded, not even ashamed. "She's helping with Mom. Staying here." So that was it. They didn't just replace me at a party. They were replacing me, period. I didn't say anything, just kept packing. But something about the silence must have gotten to him, because suddenly he blurted, "You left. You walked out. You sent those cards like you were some kind of hero. I stopped. I left, I said slowly, because your family made it clear I was never wanted. And you made it clear you were okay with that. He stood up. You could have tried. I laughed, short, bitter. I did. For 7 years. He didn't respond. Just sat down again, hands in his lap like a scolded child. As I walked to the door, I left one last envelope on the table. He stared at it but didn't open it. He did later. Inside was a single sheet of paper. One sentence. This chapter doesn't need a rewrite. It needs a new author. And taped to it? A copy of Amanda's old DUI record I'd found online. Stamped with the date, 2 weeks before the party. Filed in Denton County. Public info. All I had to do was look. The next day, I mailed a copy of that record to Evelyn. Anonymous return address. I knew what kind of person she was. Knew she'd go cold the second Amanda became an inconvenience. By the end of the week, Amanda was gone from the house. Mike called. I didn't answer. He tried to get me to talk again. Emails, voicemails, even a handwritten letter left at my office. Nothing cruel. Just sad. He said he was sorry. Said he understood now. Said he missed me and that he wished he had protected me better. But it was too late. I wasn't angry anymore. I wasn't broken. I was done. The last time I saw any of them was at the gas station off I-35. Evelyn was getting coffee. She looked thinner. Worn out. She saw me. I saw her. She walked right past. No words. Perfect. Now I live in Austin. Got my own apartment. Got a new job. Short hair, small life, and 0 people who think they get to decide if I matter. I still have the photo me cutting my hair, smiling like hell. Every time I look at it, I remember. New chapter. No guests. And this time, the story's mine.